Hello, all you farmers. I'm King Link, and this is the last look and review of Staxel. This is actually the first game of the Humble Monthly Bundle for September 2018 that I'm looking at. The early unlocks this month are Staxel, of course, Sniper Elite 4, and Tales of Berseria. That's the way I'm going to be tackling them at least. Honestly, overall, it's a pretty good month. In addition, if you enjoyed this video and want to see coverage of any of those games, please consider subscribing. I'm working my way up to 100 subscribers and I welcome any new fans. Alright, with that out of the way, we'll get into Staxel. So we can look at it here. And when you look at it, it's really hard to talk about this game without comparing it to Minecraft or Stardew Valley. And yeah, I'm going to have to do that a bit. The fact is, it's a bit obvious where the inspiration comes for this game. Whether it might not be those exact two games, it's clear that they come from the same tree. It could be based on Harvest Moon, which spawned Stardew Valley, or a game that was inspired by Minecraft. However, the exact game doesn't matter, it's the mentality behind it. And just so you know, spawning your game off of another popular title isn't a problem. It's not a problem when Sony made a million platformers to try to combat Super Mario Bros. It's just good to know where this game is getting its idea from so that you know what type of game to expect. So, let's begin with the graphics. The reason Minecraft comes so quickly to mind for me is the game really looks like Minecraft. You have cube-shaped building material and you try to build objects for the game to use. Admittedly, it's not only based on Minecraft, and there's a few tweaks. The ability to build something for a specific use is good here. If you look at the holes in the ground, you'll actually see some overlap. And you'll notice on the trees as well that they seem a little bit to puff out a little bit farther. This actually is an interesting feature to the game, but it doesn't make a huge difference. However, most buildings are built with wood and glass, and they're very Minecraftian, if you'll allow that word. Really, you're looking at a voxel-based game, but most people know that it's Minecraft, even though technically Minecraft isn't voxel-based. With that said, admittedly, I don't think the people here look the best. There is a few interesting choices in the character design that are the cat girls and cat boys, or elves. But overall, I'm not a fan of the art direction of the characters. It's not bad, but it doesn't do anything special. Now, let's move on to gameplay. Now, the game, of course, plays very similar to Stardew Valley. And you are farming. You buy seeds, grow them, and sell produce. That sounds good. In fact, Staxel adds one more piece on top of it, though. It isn't a stamina-based game, so you can use the tools as much as you want, and most allow you to charge them up and clear a wider area, where Stardew Valley actually required upgrades for that. It is a good move, in my opinion. On the other hand, the speed you're done with the farming is entirely too fast here. I spend maybe a couple hours a day on farming and checking on produce. When I have money, I might spend half a day replanting a field or making a new one, but the fact is farming doesn't take too long for me. Instead, you feel like you have to find something to do. You can't go to sleep until a certain point of the day, and you'll see me try that. So you have to stay awake for a rather long time. The problem, though, I have with Staxel is I don't see much to do. You can explore the island, which is rather small, and took me about 2 days to look around. I actually found a mine that the game references after doing this video, but the thing is, it wasn't that interesting to explore. It was only stone walls, there's no ore in the game or anything like that. You can also assist people in villages with minor quests, but most quests are stuff like find an object, being a sock or a phone, or deliver a package for someone. And these quests can take 5 seconds if you know where the item is, or however long when you don't know where the item is. And you get a small reward for that. Of course, you can build your own stuff, but that's going to take a lot of resources. And usually for something that looks good, you're going to have to shell out some serious money. And depending on what you want to build, you need quite a sum. You see, the problem in this game is many items aren't available to build, at least not easily. You need to know either the blueprints for it or something else. But many of them have to be purchased, like a cash register. I don't believe you're able to build that. The problem is, in Minecraft, you're able to mine all your resources. In here, you just have to generate money. And the thing is, money is actually pretty easy to come by in the game. when your farm's running well, a huge amount of produce can get you about 10 times what you pay for the seeds, if not more. I made about 10,000 petals in a day with sweet potatoes. That's a lot of money. However, if you don't have to harvest, or if you don't have anything to harvest at the time, you're going to have to find money other ways. Now, there's a few ways to generate money, and the easiest is to collect a resource, or a collectible like bugs, fish, or something else, and then sell them. You can also run to the beach and collect shells, fossils, or just mine stone and trees. At the same time, I feel that's about all you can do in the game right now. There's some weak festivals that aren't very interesting, and the game itself doesn't try to explain them. You have to go and find out about them online, and even there, I don't know. There's also minor quests, like I said, finding someone's socks, which can be anywhere, and the major quests, like building a new store or home. But those are going to require, like, 10,000 petals, and you need that money to keep building on your farm as well. In addition, there's also the option to grow food on your farm, and you'll do that, of course. But there's nothing outside of all these options. The thing is, this is early access, and this game is a perfect example of my problems with early access. I can't tell if this is a poorly designed game or a game that doesn't have its big, new, interesting feature implemented yet. It should have that big, great new feature, in my opinion, otherwise why bring it even to early access? There's no reason to buy this game at this point. But maybe it's not ready yet. Another thing is, everything can and probably will change in the future. I'll be honest, I don't like the UI in this game. I think it's the biggest problem, perhaps even bigger than the lack of stuff to do. The inventory screen is too small, and you'll see that. I don't go into every screen, but the achievement page is ugly, the crafting page feels unfinished, and so many other things. But the worst problem I feel is the game tries to avoid the UI often. You have to buy items from store shelves, which sounds interesting, but becomes frustrating quickly as you have to walk up and down the aisles to find stuff. And to sell items, you have to place them on a pedestal and then click the pedestal to sell them. Now that sounds workable, but when you have 10 items to sell, it's a lot of inventory work that should just be a UI screen that shows the inventory. Otherwise, you have to take the item, put it on your hotbar, take the item from your hotbar, put it on the pedestal, sell it. Do that for all the items you want to sell on your hotbar. Go back to your inventory, put more items on the hotbar, and do that again. It's a pain in the butt when you have a lot. The game also has a sales screen to buy stuff once you get the brochure, so it has that theory there, but for some reasons the stores want you to buy stuff off the shelf. Okay, that's a cute idea, but it's a bit frustrating to find the items in my opinion. Here's the thing, ultimately Staxel has one other problem. It doesn't stand out. You know, I looked at this game and I immediately thought Stardew and Minecraft, but I also thought, well, I've also played Dragon Quest Builders and Portal Knights recently, and this is, I believe there was one other game, but this is at least the 5th or 6th Minecraft or Stardew Valley based game I played recently, and the thing is, it doesn't do anything to differentiate itself from that series. Now, it is an attempt to do a multiplayer Stardew Valley. Kudos. It is an attempt to do a 3D version of that. Interesting. But the thing is, Stardew Valley now has multiplayer, and I don't think the farming is enough in 3D to be different. It sounds good on paper to me, but it's not as good a game as either Stardew Valley or Minecraft. Does that mean Staxel is hopeless? Well, no. It is in early access, so I'm holding off on fully condemning the game at this point. But as it is, I'm just not a big fan of it. I'm going to give Staxel a 2 out of 5. And that's a pretty generous score in my opinion. I would say check back on this game in about 6 months and see if the game has gotten better. Maybe they found something new or really unique, but the game as it is here in early access really isn't good enough for me to want to go play it and not Minecraft or Stardew or literally any of the other games I mentioned. It is in the Humble Monthly Bundle right now for $12, but even there, if that's the game you're buying it for, I wouldn't buy it, I think. However, there are 2 other games that I still have to review before I can really say how good the bundle is, and I'll be honest, they're a little bit more interesting for me. I actually chose Staxel because I figured it is the one game out of all of them that I don't know the most about. And sadly, I didn't learn much that I can cheer about here. So, ultimately, that's Staxel for me. So, next video, I'm going to be talking about Sniper Elite 4. It's the next game of the Humble Monthly Bundle. It might be delayed by a day or two, but I think it should be on time. Now, that's a different type of game, but it's also a long-running series. We'll see how it stacks up against its contemporaries, or at least its previous entries. Otherwise, I'm King Link. Consider subscribing again, and I am out of here.